That's all he said. Where's the purse?
A man says someone broke into his elderly mother's home and stole from her. What we've learned about the investigation.
Police now say claims by Ryan Lochte and 3 other U.S. swimmers that they were robbed in Rio were just made up, the latest on the case.
And a happy ending to one family's unusual discovery, how they tracked down relatives of a soldier whose Bible they found in a china cabinet.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. Heavy rain and even a rare funnel cloud in central Kentucky made for an interesting weather day across parts of Kentucky.
It certainly did, and it looks like we could see another round of storms tomorrow. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast.
Guys, at this point, why not? That has pretty much been the entire summer so far. You get these daily rounds of showers and thunderstorms to blow across the area. Today, packing a bit of a punch out there across southern Kentucky, especially late evening. Defender radar network looks a whole lot better than how we spent the better part of the day. Not a whole lot shaking across the bluegrass state. Broaden out the view a little bit to show you an interesting thunderstorm slowly working toward the south into eastern Illinois. This is a 2-hour loop. That hasn't moved very much at all. And some additional cloud cover and showers and thunderstorms to our southwest. The atmosphere is still primed for a late night shower thunderstorm. And look at the future radar. Indeed, trying to crank up a little action late tonight and early tomorrow morning. And we get into the middle of the day toward the afternoon. Those scattered thunderstorms will come back at us. Watch that timeline. Hopefully tomorrow's stuff will be a little calmer than what we had out there today, especially for the folks in Winchester. Take a look at this. This is a rare funnel cloud, and that was getting oh so close to touching down on the ground. If it obviously touched down, it becomes a tornado. Cannot confirm that it actually touched the ground, but boy, oh boy, that was very, very close to touching down. And just about every camera and cell phone into Winchester took a picture of this, I believe. This afternoon, a little before 2, phone lines started blowing up around here, and my Twitter feed started blowing up with videos like this and pictures as well. What was this? Well, we call this a land spout funnel cloud. It's from the tornado family. It did not touch down. Had it touched down, it would have been called a tornado, even though it does not come from a supercell thunderstorm. So guys, this was not from a thunderstorm like you would get a classic funnel cloud from. It was from a gusty shower that was similar to what you would see down in the tropics sometimes off the coast of Florida. You look out in the ocean, sometimes you'll see a little bit of a funnel cloud there. It was a similar setup in what we had over top of Winchester today. I'll come back in just a few minutes and walk you through the weekend, let you know if we have anything else of interest taking shape.
Chris, thank you. And speaking of, that funnel cloud was the talk of Winchester this afternoon after thousands of people saw it in the sky, and many of you shared your eyewitness pictures and videos of it with us. Some people at the Clark County BCTC campus ran outside to check it out.
So we all kind of rushed out here, was standing right here, and as you could stand right here, you could see it just directly right behind that tree line. And it was very skinny. It was kind of in an S curve, and it was reaching down behind the tree line.
Clark County Emergency Management sounded the county sirens as a precaution, even though there was not a tornado warning. They say they have not received any reports of damage. A frightening ordeal for a 93-year-old Harrison County woman. She says someone armed with a baseball bat forced his way into her home and stole her purse.
That woman's family says the thief got away with money and a checkbook, which were inside that purse. New tonight, Monique Blair talks to the victim and her son. It's our top story at 11.
Well, he pushed the front door open. Apparently, they'd been here earlier in the day, and Mom didn't lock the door.
Gerald Hill says on Sunday afternoon a man came to his home and talked to his 93-year-old mother. It's unclear what that man wanted, but Hill thinks he was staking out the house, and he believes it was the same man who came back later, that time more aggressively.
Came in the house with a ball bat.
Hill says the man followed him and his mom and forced them to go into her bedroom.
Had his shirt up over his nose, so I couldn't see his face. All I could see was his eyes.
The man was only after one thing.
That's all he said. Where is the purse?
At that point, Hill says he gave the man his mom's purse that had about $150 inside.
I didn't want to see her get hit in the head with a ball bat.
And just a few minutes later, the man was gone. Hill says he believes there was another person waiting in a car outside.
Hill says after the suspect left his house, he tried to call 911 using the landline, but the phone wouldn't work. Sheriff's deputies later found out the landline was cut from the outside of this house.
It didn't scare me that much, but I think I didn't know what I was doing at the time.
The Harrison County Sheriff's Office says at this time nobody has been arrested for this crime.
They don't know who it is yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Ooh.
In Harrison County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
It's a real shame no one was hurt during the home invasion. Hill describes the suspect as a white man in his late 20s, about 5'6", with a thin build. New tonight, the University of Kentucky Police Department issuing a crime bulletin after a strong-arm robbery on campus. The robbery happened about 2:30 this afternoon in the Patterson office tower, very busy place. Police say a woman walked into her office and noticed a man standing behind her desk. They say the man grabbed some money from the office and then ran off. Police have not found him. They say the victim is a UK employee.
Tonight, reports out of Brazil say that police have recommended Ryan Lochte and fellow U.S. swimmer Jimmy Fegan be indicted on charges of falsely reporting a crime. Police said today the two swimmers, along with two others, made up a story about being robbed at gunpoint in Rio earlier this week. And in the last hour, the U.S. Olympic Committee apologized to Rio for the swimmers' accusations. Mary Maloney has the latest.
The news of 4 American swimmers robbed in Rio at gunpoint cast a shadow over the Olympic Games.
They pulled out their guns. They told the other swimmers to get down on the ground. They got down on the ground. I refused. I was like, we didn't do anything wrong. And then the guy pulled out his gun. He cocked it, put it to my forehead. He took our money. He took my wallet.
But police now say the stunning story is just that, a story. Sunday, gold medalist Ryan Lochte and 3 of his teammates, Gunnar Bentz, Jack Conger, and Jimmy Fegan, partied at a club. Afterwards, surveillance video shows the swimmers at a gas station. Rio officials say the Olympians were drunk and vandalized the business, then made up a cover story. Police pointed to Lochte as the principal troublemaker. They say he got into an angry confrontation with security guards. As the swimmers attempted to leave the gas station in a cab, police say one security guard pulled a gun, forcing the athletes out of the cab and on the ground. Police defended the guard. Eventually, the police say the athletes paid for the damage and left. While sources admit the swimmers weren't on their best behavior, they say the athletes believed they were being robbed at gunpoint because they say they couldn't leave until they gave up their money. Lochte's attorney saying they are the victims. But police say one of the swimmers is cooperating, and police now say Lochte's the one who created the lie. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Tonight, Gunnar Bentz and Jack Conger arrived at Rio's International Airport to catch a flight home to the U.S. Last night, Brazilian police pulled them off a plane because they wanted to talk to them.
We have some new information tonight about a search for a Nelson County mother who disappeared more than a year ago. This afternoon, the Nelson County Sheriff's Office served a search warrant at a Bardstown home, and deputies say it's connected to the Crystal Rogers case. The warrant served to former Bardstown police officer Nick Houck, but the home belongs to his grandmother. Houck's brother, Brooks, was Rogers' boyfriend. Police have named Brooks Houck as a suspect in the case, but he has not been charged. Rogers' mother showed up at the home today as police investigated.
I just couldn't stay away. I just felt like I had to. Nervous. I'm just nervous, and I just wanted to see what was going on. They can't tell us a lot of stuff, so I'm like, I just want to come up here and see for myself.
Deputies would not talk about what was on that search warrant, but investigators were seen taking some things out of the house.
A Lincoln County family's hard work has paid off this week. We've been telling you about their search for relatives of a World War II soldier. The family found his Bible in a china cabinet they inherited. With some help, they tracked down one of the soldier's relatives, and we were there as they gave the Bible to him tonight. Garrett Weimer has the story, new at 11.
Years have smudged the ink, faded the words, but the message is there in his writing.
Please return to Milton C. Cummins, 1145 Delrose Street, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Cummins has passed, another member of the greatest generation no longer living. His Bible, though, is now back in his family's hands.
It's beautiful. I mean, this is just, this is wonderful history, and it's just, I'm just blessed to be able to enjoying it.
Protestant version.
Mark and Deanna Young got a lot of calls and did a lot of research trying to track down Cummins' family. Turns out a relative from Michigan had just gotten to Lexington for a last-minute business trip.
That shows how God can work. I mean, he's awesome, and if he wants something to happen, it's going to happen. Ain't no stopping it.
They met in Nicholasville, a meeting nothing short of a miracle for this family with only 4 descendants of Milton C. Cummins still alive.
God does small things that we should celebrate, and God does big things that we should celebrate. And to our family, this is a big thing.
Its brave owner is now laid to rest, but after all these years, this Bible is finally back home. In Nicholasville, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Very special meeting there. Max says they think the family lost track of the Bible after an estate sale shortly after their Uncle Milton died.
Police say they've broken up a theft ring they say targeted hundreds of cars around central Kentucky. What we've learned about the case in 9 minutes.
And then a Pike County family says they've now lost their home because of an accident.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Showers and thunderstorms on and off today over the past several days and for the next couple of days, and then got a big break coming our way. Let's look outside, see what we have as we break toward Friday and the weekend just around the corner. Low 70s into much of central and eastern Kentucky. We'll drop it a few more degrees, likely upper 60s. That will show up first thing tomorrow morning. Something else that will show up. Fog. Already getting some Twitter reports of some locally dense fog out there, and tomorrow morning at times visibilities down under a mile. You know, the old saying goes, you count the number of fogs in August to see how many snows you're going to get the following winter. If that's the case, it's been foggy about every morning so far this August across central and eastern Kentucky. Will likely add a little more to it tomorrow. We go throughout the Defender Radar Network now. Locally, nothing going on. Broader view still shows that pipeline of juice coming at us from the southwest to the northeast. Also now getting a couple of thunderstorms into parts of Illinois trying to dive toward the south and southeast. But this same flow has been hanging tough for the past several days. What does that mean for high school football fans? It is football time in the Bluegrass, huh? Isolated thunderstorm or two around as we go into kickoff tomorrow evening. Most games are going to stay mainly dry, though a thunderstorm or two will be on the prowl, so we'll have to keep an eye on exactly where those are. Tune back in with Micah tomorrow morning, Jim tomorrow evening, to keep you up to date on exactly where the scattering of thunderstorms will be showing up as we kick off high school football. If you're like me, you're just ready for some football. Through the next 3 days, on your rain tracker, threat for rain, you have that likely category on Saturday, early Sunday, and then we're going to knock it down. And we've got green showing up for the majority of the first half of next week. Here's the weekend troublemaker. This comes into town as we go into our Saturday, and by early Sunday, that is bad boys eastbound and down, and it is loaded up and trucking with some September temperatures coming in behind it. This will take hold as we go into the first part of next week. To get there, it's still stormy. And the new hour by hour is in, and I'm looking at not only this run, but a couple of others that suggest early tomorrow morning a little teeny tiny thunderstorm complex is going to try to pop across parts of central Kentucky. Then as we go through the day, it's a mix of sun and some clouds and some scattered thunderstorms. 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, high school football fans see a little green on the map. That's the model saying, you know, I'm going to throw a thunderstorm or two somewhere out there. End of the day on Saturday. Showers, thunderstorms, scattered. Then we go into the overnight, and a line of thunderstorms going to race its way toward the area. This model says early in the day on Sunday now, that front is a little slower with some thunderstorms around. Look at the afternoon. Temperatures down into the 70s for highs, and as we go into Monday, the 50s are coming. That's how we'll start Monday out. That same computer model, by the way, is still trying to spit out, mainly Saturday and into Saturday night, some local 1+ inch amounts. Would anything shock you at this moment if we got another inch or two of rain in some areas this weekend? Nope, not me. We go into Sunday afternoon. Let's get to Sunday afternoon, all right, because that's your pick time for the weekend as of now. Lower humidity, lower temperatures. If you called off work on Monday, congratulations. 78 degrees after a low of 55, sunshine, low humidity.
I like the way you're talking with all of that.
I haven't called off for Monday yet.
But you called off for tomorrow?
I called off tomorrow, yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
just planning ahead.
Maybe I'll flip those.
I'll be watching.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, guys.
A traveling tribute to some American heroes has made a stop in southern Kentucky. That's in 8 minutes. Tonight, investigators think that 3 people could be behind thefts from hundreds of cars around central Kentucky.
The Franklin County Sheriff's Office has charged 20-year-old Justin Hendershot and 2 juveniles with receiving stolen property. Investigators say most of the thefts were in Franklin and Anderson counties, but they think thefts in Scott and Shelby counties could also be connected. The Franklin County Sheriff says his office has recovered nearly 100 stolen items, including phones, guns, and clothing. One woman says thieves stole her hunting bow from her car.
And I was devastated. I sank to the ground, and I remember first calling my mom and just crying.
Now he's got a place actually you can shoot.
The sheriff's office did find her stolen bow. Investigators say they expect to make more arrests in the case. New tonight, we're tracking the investigation into a crash that killed a man in Harlan County. It happened around 5:30 this afternoon on South Highway 421 near Harlan. State police say 68-year-old Ralston Bray Jr. tried to make a U-turn in his car, but turned into the path of a truck, causing the crash. Police say Bray later died at a hospital. 2 other people were also taken to the hospital, but their conditions are not known.
New tonight, an eastern Kentucky family says an accident caused a fire that destroyed their home. The fire started yesterday in the Turkey Creek community of Pike County. Tolbert McCoy says his son walked outside to smoke a cigarette, but his lighter somehow caught fire. McCoy says his son thought he put out the flames, so he placed the lighter in a shoe. But minutes later, the home was on fire. And now there's not much left.
I ain't got no roof on it. It's all caved in down inside the house. Just burn it all up from the center over.
Despite all that, no one was injured in the fire. McCoy says his family has lived in the home for more than 20 years, and he almost had it paid off.
A traveling memorial to thousands of fallen heroes has arrived in Rockcastle County. The moving Vietnam Veterans Memorial is now on display outside the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame and Museum in Renfro Valley. It's a half-size replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. An opening ceremony was held for the memorial tonight. It will be open 24 hours a day while it's at Renfro Valley. One Vietnam War veteran says seeing the memorial in Kentucky is a special moment.
It's an experience because I know names on that wall. We have some countyans here that I know's on the wall. It's bringing it to a county that a lot of people will never get to experience the real. And this is as close to it as they're going to get.
The memorial will be at Renfro Valley until noon on Monday. Beautiful to see.
So much sacrifice there. Busy day as far as sports. John Calipari with a new book, and the UK women's non-conference schedule, Brian, is out.
Yeah, basketball will be here before you know it. We have volleyball on tap tonight. The Bengals were in action, and it's possible Drew Barker uses the running backs more than you might think this year. He explains, coming up in sports. We've talked a lot about the UK running backs the last couple of days, and with good reason. The Cats have a stable of very good athletes with experience, but they don't just run the football. They can catch it out of the backfield as well.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, Coach Henshaw said we've utilized the running backs, us as a quarterback room more than he's ever had, just checking it down all the time. And those guys are really good receivers after the catch. I mean, especially if you can get them in space one-on-one with a linebacker. I can guarantee you 90% of the time our running backs are going to make those guys miss. So just having threats like that out of the backfield is a huge thing, and I feel like we're going to utilize them a lot this year.
Our countdown to UK football has reached 16 days. The number worn by Wesley Woodyard, Pookie Jones, and the legendary George Blanda. 16, the number of catches Craig Yeast had against Vandy back in '98 for 269 yards. It's still a Commonwealth Stadium record. Jeff Zerker and Larry Smith each had 16 solo tackles in a single game back in '98 and '94 respectively. And you can see all of the countdown info on our webpage, WKYT.com. NFL preseason action with the Bengals and the Lions. These guys have played 36 times total, split 18 apiece. Down 3-0. The Bengals give it to Jeremy Hill. Bangs his way in from 9 yards out, 7-3 Cincinnati. Bengals showing some defense in a big way. Darren Smith, the second-year man from Fresno State, with a pick-six, 60-yard return. It's 13-3 for the Queen City Tigers right before the end of the first half. A.J. McCarron with a 12-yard dart to Tyler Boyd. No trouble in the Motor City, 30-14. John Calipari already has had one New York Times bestseller book with Players First, Coaching from the Inside Out. Now Cal has another book ready to hit the stores in the next couple of weeks. His newest book is entitled Success is the Only Option. The Art of Coaching Extreme Talent will hit the stands November 15th. In that book, he explains how he takes high school superstars to play as a team at the college level. Calipari also goes in depth in explaining his team building methods, which can be applied to business owners, CEOs, coaches, teachers, leaders of all kinds. John Calipari leading the way. The UK women's basketball non-conference schedule released today. The Cats, they've got a pretty darn tough non-conference schedule. In November, Kentucky plays Union in an exhibition game before facing Miami and Albany as part of the Kentucky Classic at Memorial Coliseum. That's followed by New Hampshire at home. At the first road game, you go out west of Boulder, Colorado against the Buffaloes. The Cats close out November with Morehead State and Samford at home. December comes in with a bang. Oklahoma comes to Lexington, followed by a trip down I-64 to play Louisville. That's on the 4th. The always tough and dangerous Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee, December 9th. Arizona State. Now, this game will be that annual game played at Rupp Arena. Washington State on the 21st, and then Kentucky visits Tobacco Road and the Duke Blue Devils December the 29th. After a disappointing run in the NCAA tournament last year, the UK Volleyball Wildcats are a preseason pick to finish third in the SEC this year. Craig Skinner's Cats lost in their NCAA opener to American U last year, but there's renewed optimism this season. Skinner returns all SEC players Kaz Brown at middle blocker and Ashley Dusek at libero.
I think we have a shot at winning the championship, and you know, we're as athletic as we ever have been. We have, you know, the 9 people that played for us last year, 7 of them are returning. You know, we were a match away from winning the SEC last year, so there's no reason why, you know, we can't compete with, you know, all the teams that are returning. A lot of people too.
And folks, this time tomorrow night, we will have the first weekend of high school football in the books. That's sports. We'll be right back.
It's almost Friday.
Yay. Weekend. It's here. And for Brian, tomorrow's Christmas, right?
Oh,
huh?
New Year's, Christmas, Halloween,
oh my gosh.
Everything in between.
We'll throw in Thanksgiving. You
too.
bring the turkey. Temperatures tomorrow for the opening of the high school football season. Low 80 to 85. Chance for a scattered thunderstorm. Shouldn't be washout material tomorrow evening, but some scattered stuff around. Keep an eye on later Saturday, some strong thunderstorms.
You do all the work for these games.
I know. He just gives us the rain, and I do all the work.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.